The police chief in Elliot is getting recognition from his peers for efforts to better address mental health. He was recently named Chief of the Year by the Maine Association of Police.
Elliot Moya created a crisis intervention team and made officer wellness a priority. It's a shift that is changing the course of policing not only in Maine, but across the country now. News Center Maine's Vivian Lee shows us how.
During the pandemic, Elliot Police Chief Elliot Moya was approached by his officers about doing more to address mental health calls in the community.
And they were interested in, let's dig deeper and let's see what we can do here.
Sergeant Ronald Lunn encouraged his chief to watch this HBO documentary.
Are you okay?
Ernie and Joe, Crisis Cops, follows two police officers in San Antonio divert people away from jail into mental health treatment.
Seeing that, I was like, how do I build that?
Moya admits it was daunting to envision with only 8 police officers and less than a $2 million budget. But several members of the force already had crisis intervention training known as CIT. Moya started a CIT team where officers reported all mental health calls and did follow-up checks. He partnered with the National Alliance on Mental Illness Maine and Sweetser Mobile Crisis Interventions to do ride-alongs. Through York County Community Action Corporation, police in Kittery, York, and Elliot share a caseworker to serve people in all 3 communities.
We can bring Sweetser on, or a social worker. They can actually start bringing these people to the resources they need, and that's probably most of the time not jail.
Wellness checks are also available to officers on the force who can meet with a mental health expert when needed.
We need to start looking after one another, so we don't have, people dealing with crisis internally.
Moya's advocacy for mental health was recently recognized by the Maine Association of Police. The organization, which represents more than 50 Maine police departments, named Moya as the state's Chief of the Year. Lund and other officers nominated Moya for the honor. Now in June, Moya is hosting a second annual wellness conference open to police officers, their spouses, and social workers. Last year, the symposium drew 125 officers from across Maine and New England, and Moya hopes to double those numbers this year. Moya hopes other small towns in Maine will also focus their efforts on the growing need to address mental health.
It really is possible. You just have to make that shift and want to do it.
In their communities. In Elliot, Vivian Lee, News Center, Maine.
In addition to Chief Moya, Paul Fenton, the chief of Cape Elizabeth Police Department, was also named Chief of the Year. Last year's ceremony was canceled because of the pandemic.
Congrats to them, though.